Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Country Cuz Hump Day Report here. And hope y'all all had a good 4th of July. We had a spectacular show in our neighborhood out here in the country, away from town. Somebody less than a half a mile had bought all them big fancy fireworks that went up in the air and went boom with some whistles. Anyway, then to top it off, big rainstorm was to our northeast, which is over towards Bon Air area and Pine View, I think, and maybe Warner Robins area. But it was light and boom, boom. I started to get my camera. It was so pretty. But then again, I'm like, well, there's going to be 100,000 people putting fireworks on the internet. But we sat out there to 10 o'clock enjoying the fireworks show. Poor cats, so they all hightailed it and went up under my shop because they was on the porch when the first firework went up and went boom. Zoom, they took off, and some of the baby kittens got behind me on the porch. We got a big new deck back there. Anyway, I got a question asked to me, Country Cuz. What kind of amp do you use? And Speedy, you won't know if I could do a banjo roll with my pick without using my fingers. Like the banjo roll I play is using these fingers. With the pick without my fingers, but that's where you got to be pretty fast with a pick. See, I messed up already because I started to use that finger and I remember I wasn't going to. I'm going to hold that pick this time. Didn't use my finger, I'll put my finger down, see it on the guitar. Alright, so yes, you can do that, Speedy. Alright, moving on to the amp section. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to zoom in. I got several amps in here. Somebody asked what was my favorite amp or my best amp. I really going to start off by telling you there's not a good answer to it. Depending on what you're playing, where you're playing, and why you're playing. And maybe when you're playing. Where you playing, let's say you're playing in the house. I use that little old bitty, it's a practice amp, don't weigh nothing, Peavey Viper 1. Now, them amps are really hard to set up like I've got mine. I had to do a lot of tweeting on it, and I got a video somewhere on my YouTube of me setting it up, showing you how my setup works. Right now, I'm playing through one of my favorites. It's an old USA made, back in the 70s or 80s, Bandit 112. Now this amp's got a high and low gain. I think I'm playing through the high end part, but it's got an EQ on it and a good reverb. Listen to the reverb. I'm going to get up so I can zoom in on that amp, and maybe I can show you the settings on it. We'll just have to give it a look-see and a gander here, people. Y'all bear with me a minute when I'll zoom in. There's, take me a minute. Yeah, I ain't got my glasses on, so my eyes ain't in much focus better than the camera. But there you have it. It's an old Bandit 112. And you see how much I got the reverb cranked up? Right there, boy, I got it cranked up good. And also, I'm trying to move the camera down I got it locked nearby it, but I got my knobs. I got this thing set in the, yeah, I got it set on the high. You can go into high or low. There's your volume. I got it barely turned. I got the volume turned way down on my guitar. I do have a high gain punch in button, and I got a bright button, and I think, yeah, I got the brightness punched in. Low setting over there at look like about a number 5, which is 12 o'clock. I got my mids at 12 o'clock and check the highs out. They setting over there about 1:30. And then the presence, I don't even know how to explain what it does. It gives you all around beautiful sound. And them two knobs there, I don't think I'm actually using those on the high gain setting unless I punch that bottom button right there that says channel. Now that's more for you, I think, your serious rock and roll stuff. But anyway, if I was gonna play at a good sized room, this right here would be my amp. It's got a, and I forget, I think it's a Sheffield 12-inch speaker. Now that may be a Black Widow, but I know my bass guitar amp's got Black Widow. But I'm gonna leave that pointed at the amp instead of me, and I'll play a little bit with it, and we'll compare it to some of the other amps. We'll start off letting you hear some of the bass. Didn't realize I had my tone knob turned down a little bit towards the bass side. Now I'm going to turn the volume up on my guitar just to show you where it was at. Back down, woo, blow me out of this room. Peavey 112 amp I got. Now I've got another Peavey 112 that's got a single speaker. Now I tell you, one of the best amps that I played through that I love, but I don't like the weight of it, and I sold it, and that was a Peavey Nashville 700 series, and it had a 12-inch black widow, but my Lord, that thing, and all my amps in here, if you'll notice closely, and I'll get up and show you, all my amps except that little Peavey Viper 1 is on wheels, and there's a reason for that, because they ain't none of them live, but I put casters on all my amps. Everything in here, all these amps, let's see if we can go over here. This is, well, that's my guitar. I got it. All right, there is a new Bandit 112 amp. That's called a TransTube. But, see, it's got wheels on it too. And I do love Peavey amps. Matter of fact, that's the only amp I got today. The Peavey in this whole room is a Roland right here, which is a great amp also, but it's a Roland Chorus. Now, I'm going to demonstrate something. And a lot of people say, wow, this right here is a TKO Peavey bass amp with, and this is the cool part, it's got the EQ. See the EQ equalizer? And you can set bass, treble, and mids. Now, this amp does not, because it's a bass amp, and it's got a black widow speaker in it. That's what the BW equip means, black widow. I done took the back off and checked it out. This speaker, this bass amp come out of a church. But now, I've got the cord, the little cord, I'm going to call it an effects pedal. But that little cord effects pedal thing there, it is got amp simulators and all that. Now I've got it set on a blackface Fender, like a Fender Twin. But another thing, I'm using this, and I'm gonna come back around there, but I'm using that cord effect pedal, and it's got a lot. It's a nice pedal, but I'm using it and for reverb. That's the only thing that I'm using that for, is so I can have reverb. Because steel guitar just ain't right without reverb. I better turn this down because I do not know where this amp is set. It might blow me out. I don't know. Alright, now it don't work. Why? Okay, I've got it. There we go. Too loud. Alright, now you hear the reverb, listen. But now, whenever you want to really get it thumping, I use it a lot for this right here. Hear that good bass? And I'll do, a lot of times I'll plug into different amps because I like just don't really come out that much in it. No fuzz or growls or and that bass just stomps good bass out. So basically that I'm gonna unplug her and she'll be quiet. But basically that's what I use this amp for, folks. Right here is doing my low ends, and I'll even plug my regular guitar in it, especially if I'm playing in a E or some of the low keys where I want to get some good bass to go over like a bass rhythm, doom diddy doom diddy doom, and then get my bass guitar and plug in and thump, bump, thump, bump, thump, bump, just like that. So with that being said, I could see the need for somebody that was serious about music owning a bass amp, even if you're a guitar player. Now I've got over here, that right there is a keyboard amp. Now it's like the bass, it picks up, and the reason a keyboard amp, it's got a tweeter in it. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm not gonna play to it. I don't really like to play steel to it. I do play, and it sounds great with an acoustic guitar. And I might try the steel in it one day. I had never, so I don't know what it sounds like. But it's got, you know how a piano's got a full range of the low keys on the left and down to the tinkle little keys on the right. That's capable of hitting them notes without spiking out the bass or the treble. Kind of the same way with this, but you get a lot more bass. And right now I've got the treble kind of cranked up on the bass amp a little bit just for this guitar. Now when I'm playing the bass guitar to it, I push the mids and the treble down and pull the bass up, because of the bass amp I want to hear bass to go along with the kick drum. Alright, with that being said, let's move along to another one of my favorite amps. So y'all stand by. I'm going to cut the camera off a second and go. I got to plug you up the amp. Okay, we're back, and I got you zoomed in on one of my favorite amps, but mostly my favorite for my guitar and my lead guitar part. It's great with lap steel too, and we'll demonstrate. But this is a tube amp, and it's just a called a classic 20 watt tube amp guitar. It's a classic 20, I think's what they call it. But it's got a good reverb in it, and it does got real tubes in it. Matter of fact, if you look, it's on standby. See the button? I had to flip that switch up to get it to play. You turn it on, let the tubes warm up a little bit. And the cabinet has got two, I think 12-inch Celestion vintage 30 speakers in it. and they're the old-timey style speakers. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep you, I'm gonna pull over here, so I'm gonna keep you zoomed in on this amp, and we'll go over where you can, I'm trying to get out of here without turning over everything. I'm up against my recorder here, but I'm trying to get the whole amp in the picture. I'm not going to adjust the settings on it or anything, because I'm pretty sure I got it set like I had it the last time that I was back here playing the lap steel. I'm going through my pedal board, but I've got none of the pedals on. And the only effect I'll be using on this amp is reverb. Now I gotta get up and find my bar. I done laid it down, laid my bar down and my pick. Where is it? Oh, here it is behind on the stool where I had the chord effect thing. So I'm gonna just reach over here and turn my volume on. Oh, I still got the amp on standby. Let's flip the switch, and that should be hot. Yep. Alright, now listen how much the bass has changed. I might turn that amp up. Yeah, I had it cranked way down. Oh, what I like about the amp, though, I can come out of the back of the head, that's the head in the cabinet, I can come out of the back with the XLR cables and go directly into my recorder. Hear a lot of difference already. It makes you kind of miss that bass, don't it? But the highs in its magnificence. Well, hello people, we're back. I had a phone call I had to take. My mother called, and she lives right next door, but she was asking me if the farmer's market was open, and I told her I didn't really know. But anyway, back to the amp. What we got is we missing our highs. But we gained our low. I mean, we missing our low. We gained our high. Sure, yeah. Let's see. Now I just cranked the bass wide open. Still ain't got that thing up like that. Alright, so it won't drop. I'm gonna cut the treble wide open one time, see what it sounds like. It about the way I had it set, like. Okay, now, cut that off. The use, or what I use this amp for, main thing about this amp that I use it for is recording. In this amp, I could plug my telly or my Strat in, and it just sounds gorgeous. But now, this amp being this a 20 watt, and they switch back there that goes 5, 10, and 20, I think. I got it turned down to the middle, 10 watt. So I'm not pushing it on 20. There's no need in the house. But now, I don't think that amp would do a real good job playing out at a big vineyard. Maybe in a small schoolroom or something, in a schoolroom maybe alright, but not in an auditorium like the BFW, especially where you got all the people talking and all. But anyway, as far as the amp, it's a great amp. They're way overpriced because it's a tube amp. I'll just be honest with you, I can't tell a bit of difference in between the sound hardly of a tube amp and a non-tube amp. I forgot what to call the darn things now. But anyway, them non-tube amps, transistor amp, I guess you'd say, don't have tubes in now. I'm not sure about the Roland Jazz 30. I haven't really flipped it over and looked. It may or may not be a tube amp. I really don't know. I hadn't thought about it. But anyway, we'll move on to, we'll see about playing the chorus amp next and see what she sounds like. It's a great sounding amp too, but the chorus with a lap steel really don't fit in too much. Alright, but anyway, that was the Peavey Classic 20 watt amp, tube amp, with the tube and the cabinet. My God, them vintage 30 speakers, 12 inch, now they sound good with anybody's head sitting on top of them. We had a guy come over here the other day and bought a quilter head and plugged it in and set it on top of that. Sounded great. Really did. Alright, we'll move right along. I'm going to cut you off again and we'll be right back. Alright people, I'm putting you in a corner over here because I don't want to dig it out. That's kind of a heavy amp, but this is a Roland Jazz Chorus 90, and I'm assuming the 90 is a 90 watt because this amp really, now you can play a large venue with this amp with no problem. You could actually blow the people out in the back. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of it. It's got great lows, great highs. It's got, I'm pretty sure, Roland speakers in it. I did check in the back. It is not a tube amp, it's a transistor amp also. Lows sound good. And that was what the high sound like. Great sounding out. That's not a lot way down either, but if you wanted to play in a large hall, now this guitar's cut way down, folks. I'm gonna crank it up for a second. I didn't touch the amp, I just turned the guitar up a little bit. Turn that thing back down. went through that amp in a few days, no, a few months. I done forgot how good it sounded, but I'm hearing thunder. We had a little cloud come up today, or this evening, and if it starts lightning, I'm gonna cut my computer off. All right, that, folks, is what the Roland Jazz Chorus 90 sounds like. And the next one and last one we're gonna do is my newest Peavey Bandit called a TransTube. And don't ask me what that means, but that's what they call it, the TransTube. I think it's supposed to emulate a tube amp or something, I don't know, but it's really got some crank up power to it also. It's on the same equalization with the Roland and the other 112 Bandit. The two weakest amps I got that I'm thinking is going to be the Peavey Classic 20 and the Peavey Viper. Now the Viper don't like bass at all, so I don't record with it at all. I do that, that's basically a practice amp. And y'all hear it every day, so I'm not even going to play through it. But with further ado, let me cut the camera off. I got to go plug up the 112 Bandit, and I got to slide my pedal board that I got down here on the floor, because see the cord's stretched to the max, because it goes in here, and it's a little short cord. It's cloth wrapped, old-timey cord, but I like them. But anyway, it ain't a long cord, so I got to slide my pedal board over a little bit, so because I'm going through the pedal board. However, the only pedal I'm using is the volume pedal, and the only reason I'm using it is when I'm unplugging my guitar. Alright, see y'all back here in a second. Well, we back, people. This right here is, of all the amps I got, as far as to go out and play at any kind of place, this is my #1 pick. And we'll focus in on the Bandit, but see the little tube looking thing? It's called a TransTube, and it's got high and low. I'm plugged into the high side and all, but it's got different settings like vintage and classic and all, but it's got a blue, it's called a Peavey Blue Marble 12-inch speaker in it, and this amp has got 3 settings on the back of a button I push. It goes from 25 watt, 50 watt, and 100, so you can crank it all the way up to 100 watt. It's got one 12-inch blue marble, I believe that's what it was, speaker, but the amp is probably, if I had to do without all my amps and just pick one in the room, that right there'd probably be my choice. And you're fixing to find out why. The bass on it is magnificent, but the highs are just sparkling like well water. So I'm gonna reach over here with my foot, got my volume pedal on. I got my guitar turned down. I done tried it, cause this amp here can literally blow the lens out of the camera. you throw at it. Lows. Highs and mids. Again, I get carried away with a good sounding out. You can't help yourself, people. I can plug my guitar into this thing and it sounds just plumb fantastic too. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit now. It's set where I leave it, but I ain't. Now I've got the volume on it turned up. you know, but I think they do. But the Bandit 112 has always been a good amp, but you can find them everywhere fairly cheap used. That's the cool thing about these amps. Also, I don't know how it is now, but used to back in a while back, because I remember I had a friend of mine that had a Peavey. In fact, he got it, and his wife still got it, but one of the first Peavey P-bass guitars, or a Peavey bass guitar that was made, and he had a Peavey bass amp that went with it. And both of them went out or went bad. Well, he had to go down to Mississippi, Louisiana, or somewhere over there one day, and Peavey's down there. And he stopped by the plant. He took his guitar and his amp, and they showed it to him. They was like, wow, that's one of the first guitars we ever made. So they took that thing and run it through the factory. The amp in there, they stripped it all the way down and put it back together with new parts and didn't charge him one dime. Now, you can't get no better service than that, so thank you there, Mr. Harvey Peavey. But anyway, everybody, I just wanted to run you by. I had a question about amps. We hadn't done an amp shootout lately, and I know it's hard to compare when we move so fastly along with these videos of different sounds of different amps, and then there's so many different settings that we can be using on these amps. I didn't put no distortion, I didn't turn up the gain on none of them, but that Peavey amp, I've always heard it called a poor man's Marshall. If you want to crank the gain up on it, it'll distort out just fine, and it'll still, you'll be able to understand each note with clarity. Anyway, I hope that each and every one of y'all has a great week. We got thunder coming, so I hope we get some much needed rain without the not so much needed lightning and thunderstorms and wind. Still got a hog problem. We caught one, we done fixed it up. Matter of fact, we done eat a ham off it and barbecued it right there before 4th of July, about the 3rd of July. But, you know, we got the trap set. We're going to come up with some more, I hope, because there's a bunch of them tearing up my field. They've destroyed my corn. I've got no corn. Anyway, I got to go and check on the weather, and I got to go edit this video, and I want to thank y'all for stopping by. I hope that somebody gets something out of the video tonight. But remember, your number one thing when the lap steel guitar or the pedal steel is played, if I couldn't have but one effect in the whole world, it would have to be reverb. Reverb is what makes the magic, people. Y'all stay safe out there and come see me, Country Cuz.